Finding a job with the I Want to Work app is easy. Just search the live vacancies on our interactive map to find a job that matches your skills and experience. Sign up and complete your profile. Upload information about your education and career history before posting your very own video CV. Hit apply and let I Want to Work do the rest. It couldn't be simpler.
Hi guys, this is Suhaib back in another The Job Stock Show, third episode in Dubai, sponsored by the I Want to Work, one of the leading job portal in the UAE. Today we are going to talk about video CV, how you can establish your self-brand. We're also going to talk about the job application sites in case you're looking for new opportunities in Dubai. So we have one expert here who is the head of the HR, and we'll be asking different questions to her when it comes to the job application. Let me introduce you to our panelists for today. Trisha Chapman, she is an expert CV writer, also the managing director of Impressive CV. She is based out in Dubai for many, many years. Next, we have Pega Gold, who is the self-branding expert. She is also Amazon best-selling author of her book, Formula for Modern Job Finding. We have Miss Louise Mawai, who is the head of the HR, and she has been here in the UAE for more than a decade. So we're going to talk all about video CV, establishing yourself as a brand, and when it comes to the job applications, different questions we are going to tackle in today's session. Trisha, the first question is about the video CV. Why there is video CV, why there is a need of video CV, and why this buzz is on the social media. Employers, they are asking for video CVs. So what is happening right now in the job market?
Great. Well, first of all, thank you so much for inviting me back, Sahib. And of course, I Want to Work. It's a fantastic platform for all of the UAE job seekers. And I really hope that everyone benefits from these shows. So thank you once again. Now, there is definitely a buzz going around about video CVs, especially with, really big companies, Fortune 500 companies announcing that they'll be accepting video CVs. I Want to Work also has a platform for video CVs. So, it's definitely expanding and a bit of a hot topic at the minute. So, there's a couple of different ways you can take this. There's no right or wrong to be creating a video CV. It's just how you best market yourself. Now, there's two different streams. So one that would be specifically for a job application. You are following the requirements, you're uploading it to the job portal, etc. Or you could be having a second version where you are the one that is publishing all about yourself, your traits, on all of your social medias, YouTube, Facebook, and of course LinkedIn. So there's two different streams, and of course you would just make sure that you're following all of the instructions if it was for a specific job application, as you would for a normal CV.
Right. Okay. Brilliant. Pega, about the self-branding, the importance of self-branding, but even before that, what is self-branding? Because it looks very scary. It looks very a huge word for person when they will hear for the very first time. And especially when you tell them, you have to establish yourself as a brand, you need to come up in the digital space and you have to put yourself out there. So what actually is self-branding, and can everybody establish themselves as a brand?
Absolutely. First of all, thank you so much for inviting me, Suhaib, and I also have a special thanks to I Want to Work platform for sponsoring this show. About the personal brand, it's as you said, it's a scary topic, and it's a relatively new word, new buzzwords that everyone uses it, and it's quite vast. And sometimes I have people that reach out to me and said, "What is personal branding?" And I'm like, it's not something that we don't know about it. We all grow up, we all have a personal brand. It's not about having a personal brand or not. It's about if you want to use it and how you want to use it, how you want to utilize your personal brand. So yes, we have personal brand. We have the offline and online personal brand and how we work on it. And having the digital version of CV, it's very important. And it's part of also a personal brand, which I'm going to cover during this session. What is the best way to brand ourselves? But it's literally, if I want to put it in one word, it's your reputation. It's the perception of the clients about you. Whatever you do, either if you are a job seeker, if you're an entrepreneur, if you are a market thought leader, you need to have a proper personal brand, and you need to have a proper plan for your personal brand.
Right. Okay. And also we're going to discuss the different ways and different platforms which are available where you can brand yourself. Right. Luis, a quick question to you. When it comes to the job descriptions, a lot of applicants, right now they're applying for numerous job opportunities. And being an HR professional, you yourself, when you post a vacancy online, and immediately you would get hundreds of applications, right? So how do you choose which one to pick? So if you post a job on LinkedIn, or using one job portal you would use, and you would post a vacancy there, and then you have 500 applicants applying for that position. So how are you going to read through those job applications? How you filter them?
Okay. Thanks again for the invite, for inviting me to come back to this very important discussion. How I filter the various candidates who've applied for one role, as you said rightly, I'll have like even 1,000 for just one particular position. First of all, the things I look for, just like I mentioned last time, is the little details, like attention to detail, no spelling mistakes, the structure of the resume, and also I look at the overall profile of the person applying for the role. Are they the right fit in terms of the background? So sometimes we'll find people in senior management team applying for a very junior position. And this obviously comes about from the fact that people are desperate for jobs and they would apply for anything, which is not the right thing to do. So if you want to brand yourself out there, if you want to come across as a professional, I would never recommend, or I would advise everyone out there, please don't apply for jobs just for the sake of applying for a job. And
you think they're making it hard for the HRs as well?
Yeah, you make it very, very hard for us. And also, at a time when we are very, very fast-paced and we want to close a position as quickly as possible, what happens more often than not is you will be permanently sort of banned by the recruiter. If you apply for a job that you know very well you're not suitable for, you'll be put in a box whereby every time you apply, exactly, you're blacklisted. So every time you apply for the position, I go to my blacklist. This resume looks familiar, so, and correct me if I'm wrong, you've been in recruitment, yeah.
This is the brand that person is, you know.
Yeah, exactly. So you're blacklisted purely based on the fact that you've applied for a role that you know is not your background.
Right.
You are not the right fit sometimes, and you're senior and you're applying for a low position. So I would advise all candidates, please read the job description properly before applying.
Right.
Don't go blindly applying.
And I think one of the ways that the recruiters or the employers, they can limit such kind of applications is by introducing video CVs.
Exactly.
So because not everyone have the experience and not everybody is so confident like instantly recording themselves.
Yeah.
But obviously you can then limit it when you would ask for the video CVs. So and then you would have very selected people applying for that position. So in addition to your job application, in addition to your CV, please also submit a URL link of your YouTube or Google Drive where you have uploaded your video, so we can take a look. Because of this COVID time, with this pandemic, and a lot of people, they have been made redundant, and the competition is really high right now. So video CV is one of the ways where you can brand yourself.
Exactly. Even as a recruiter, if I've not asked for a video CV and I see a candidate has actually made the effort to upload one, that's one of the reasons why I would go ahead and actually look at the profile, call the candidate because this is someone who's gone the extra mile. Right, and that shows me their creativity and their their eagerness and the passion for the role. So that is something else I will always look at.
And that's one of the ways to explain yourself more in detail about your personality, your communication skill, your confidence level, that you can face the camera. And because of this COVID situation and everything, a lot of interviews are happening online. So putting yourself out there in the digital space is one of the ways. Now let's get back to Trisha, to you again about the video CV. Is there a script that we need to follow step by step? How can we sound more natural when we are going to record ourselves, and what should be the length of the video CV?
It can be a little bit tough, especially if you're not camera friendly.
Beginning.
Or if you're a bit of a beginner, which we all start out somewhere. You're not born an expert video guru. So it's no problems, practice, practice, practice. I think it's so important to be not reading off a script, first of all. You want to be as natural as possible, obviously having appropriate lighting, making sure that the camera angle is appropriate, it's not just cutting off at your chin, you've got a nice view, and of course that you're confident in what you're saying. At the end of the day, no one knows yourself better than you. So what is your unique selling proposition? What is your elevator pitch? Now, you've all been on YouTube, you've watched videos. If you're not captured, within the first few seconds or, maximum 30 to a minute, you just switch off. So you need to make sure that that first initial pitch is right on the mark. And then from there on, maybe a minute 30 up to 2 minutes maximum.
Right, okay. And should we create multiple video CVs, or should we just create one and then, for each and every single job application that we are applying, so we are attaching that URL if we have uploaded the video on our YouTube channel, for example, and you will just paste that URL in our video CVs, paste it there, or you would advise the applicants to create multiple, because on one side we also have to focus on the length of the video CVs, the retention time of the recruiters who are looking at it. So should you advise 3-4 different video CVs or just one?
It's a good question. So it obviously depends. Are you uploading it? Is it a specific requirement that, for example, a platform has asked of you? Or are you just uploading it to YouTube or your LinkedIn for better visibility? So it's really important. So for example, if you are applying for a digital marketing role, obviously you would want to showcase your marketing skills, so having different backgrounds, being a little bit maybe unique with some of the transitions that you incorporate.
Elements.
Yeah, the elements of it, or even the text font down the bottom.
Animation.
Yeah, exactly. Versus a leadership resume. Maybe you've already got a job and you're going for a promotion, or a board member, you want to showcase all of your C-suite skills. You would want to be, keeping it maybe a plainish or professional background and the right appropriate attire. So I think it depends, again, who the audience is of the video.
Exactly, yes. How difficult was it for you, Pega, when you recorded yourself for the very first time? When you were establishing yourself as a brand, obviously, you have achieved now yourself as a brand, but do you still remember your first video that you recorded?
Absolutely. Very interesting question. I'm actually quite extrovert, so I can talk in front of thousands of people. I can do like keynotes or whatever, I feel really good. Even when I do live and I see the audience and I know I can interact with them, I feel really good. But me sitting in front of the camera and just no one is there, it was quite a challenge for me. But I started it actually literally just when the pandemic hits and we got into the lockdown. And I used to do beforehand, but it was like not really, I didn't feel the importance of it. So when I started to do it, I think for me recording 4 minutes video, it took me 2 hours and 40 minutes, something like that. I was like, oh no, this is not, literally I was like going back and forth and I was sitting alone at home. I was like checking myself. Okay, no, I didn't like it. Oh no, stop, oh, cut. I was like cut, like I was director of my own video. so after, when you do something a lot, you start to become expert. None of us, as Trisha mentioned earlier, was born like actors or experts in front of the camera, and imagine someone like that has the all it needs to talk in front of 1,000 people, still struggling with the camera. And that's very normal. I'm just sharing my own experience because I want everyone to feel that it's not you, it's everyone. Like you can be the expert in everything, but these things that are so new to all of us, and we just practice makes perfect.
Right. So what are different ways to brand ourselves when it comes to personal branding, and you talk about establish yourself as a brand. So we would love to hear your tips, advice, and strategies that how a person who has never discovered their own brand and now they have decided to come forward and establish their brand. So what are different ways that you would advise them?
There are two ways, like offline and online. Offline is the traditional way, which I'm going to cover it quickly, but because the online is going to be now the most important topic, and this is how the world is going to perceive you, and you're going to reach places that you cannot believe yourself. It helped me a lot for that. I get clients from South America. I never thought that I'm going to have clients from South America. You know? So the offline one is the traditional way. People, they know you within your market. For example, if you're a corporate banker, we have banker in our audience. So if you're a corporate banker, I remember as a recruiter, because I have 15 years of experience in recruitment agencies. So when I was calling them and I asked them, okay, who do you know? Okay, are you interested to join this role? No, I'm not interested. Who do you know in the market? And back then, it wasn't so much of the social media and LinkedIn and all these things. And they were like, okay, I know this guy, he's working in another bank. But imagine that guy in another bank, how established his brand, that even people from different banks, they already know that person. So this is something, this is your reputation within the market. And it comes from doing some networking, attending some events. Yes, exactly. And even like hang out with some of your peers from other companies. If you're in the marketing, for example, and you're working for one company, you can just get in touch with someone else and working in marketing, but in different company.
Or you just have your blog, your own website, where you're just sharing your thoughts.
Yes.
As appearing to be as a thought leader.
That one, it's about the online parts. Yeah, I'm talking about the offline now. So this is the part of offline, which most of us, we already know and we already done. But it was quite difficult for some of us because some of us were introverts. It's difficult for us to just go to any event. We get like anxiety, and I have some clients like that.
I have a question here, which is I think is would be very interesting. So I think now it is more like a mix. So yes, we are attending the events, or a person who is attending the event, but that person has to make those pictures available online.
Yes.
For his network.
Yes.
To see that, hey, look, I attended this event.
Yes.
Look, I was sitting with the authorities.
Yes.
Look, I was sitting with the high-end people.
Absolutely.
In this event.
So what I was saying about the being an introvert, and now there is a good news, which when you're online, they are much more easier for many introverts to do so. Putting your picture there is not gonna give you so much anxiety if you are introvert, So, that's the whole beauty of being online. So for most of the things, like when you put your video CV, you don't need to go through the event and telling who you are. You just do it once, and then everyone can see it. Right. You don't get any kind of attentions. You get, like, as I said, anxiety, stress, and all these things. So it's I don't know, the technology is making everyone's job easier. Yes. Everyone's job easier. So now we are shifting to the online one. As you mentioned, the video CV, the cover story of the LinkedIn. These are the basic, but the most fundamental things you need to do. You need to have it. It's no-brainer. Even if you don't want to apply for any jobs at this moment, or if you don't want to, send your CV, the soft copy of your CV, this is still fine. The video CV is still fine. You need to have it, and you need to start to get used to become more computer friendly, more technology friendly, and as I said earlier, it's only one time, but you can do lots of things. But before I'm going to say what are the ways, I'm just going to one step behind, and I just say that you need to know what you want to achieve with all this. Yes, I can say go to YouTube, go to LinkedIn, go to here, go to there, but if you don't know what you want to achieve, you're not giving any message. So if you're a job seeker, you need to know what kind of job you're looking for. If you are an entrepreneur, you need to know what kind of target clients you're looking for. So I'm going to cover that one also later, but if you're asking me what platforms are good, for me, and I'm sure all of us will agree on that, the number one platform for job seekers is LinkedIn. Mm-hmm. So we need to have the LinkedIn, and we need to treat our LinkedIn as our platform for doing our personal brand, most of our personal brand, especially on the professional level. I'm on all the platforms. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. But if I was a job seeker, or if I was looking for establishing myself as a market thought leader, I would have just focused on LinkedIn, because you know what kind of audiences you
Exactly.
have.
And it gives a lot of features, which we're going to discuss in the next round, that what features LinkedIn provides for the job seekers that they can use to brand themselves, that they can take advantage of.
Absolutely.
Right. Thank you for this wonderful insights. Luis, a typical question that I mostly receive from my network is that I'm applying for a lot of positions, but I'm not hearing back from the recruiter or the HR. All right. So you already mentioned that you get volume of applications for each and every single job opportunity that you post for the public. Now, when it comes to the salary part, all right, salary is not mentioned in the job description. So obviously, even if I would have to apply, I would just apply. So if the role is saying for HR executive, all right, now the salary could be 8,000 dirham, salary could be 14,000 dirham, because companies have different magnitudes, and in one company, the similar role, HR executive, they have the bracket 12 to 15,000 dirham, and a smaller company, HR executive salary 6 to 8,000 dirham. So me as an applicant, me as a job applicant, I would go for it and I will submit my application. But the salary is not mentioned.
Yeah.
All right. And I'm coming from a high end, like really high experience. And on this side, I will be overqualified and I might be rejected as well. So how we can, gauge this salary part? Should we reach out to the recruiters first? Should we call the company that, hey, please let us know because we really would like to apply? Or why the HR or the recruiters, they don't mention the salary on the job ad? Or at least it would be fair, I think, for the applicants just to know, like if the salary bracket is given on the job ad. So what are your thoughts?
So from personal experience, I'm going to talk from personal experience. So depending on the job level, so if it's a junior position, I tend to mention the salary so that I don't waste their time and they don't waste my time. That way from the onset, you know what my salary banding is. And I actually put that as one of the screening questions. Are you willing to relocate to this location? This is the salary banding. Can you join immediately? Do you need to I have some screening questions, and automatically the system rejects the ones who don't meet the criteria. So that makes me believe for sure the candidate has read the job profile. Now, if it's a senior position, I don't put the salary banding, obviously. I don't recommend it because at that level, my thoughts are you want to grow in your career, for example. You're not a fresher. It's not a new job for you. You're not a junior employee. And basically why you're applying for this role is because you want to grow. And you're not moving from your existing position to a new position purely based on salary. There are other motivating factors. So if you're a senior candidate, I don't recommend asking the recruiter how much is the salary, especially at the beginning, right? I don't recommend that because as a recruiter, when for example, I'm interviewing, say, for example, for an operations manager role, and they ask me at the very beginning, how much is the salary? I reject them. I don't know if you guys used to do the same, or what are your thoughts on that? Yeah.
Actually, because we have two types of recruiters, the internal recruiters,
Yeah.
which they are within the company, and the recruiters within the agencies. Because I was the middle person, I was the recruiter myself. So having a recruiter, it makes especially the high-level job seekers' jobs easier. Because what we do, we communicate with the job owners, with their employers, and we ask them how much is the salary bracket and all these things. We don't, if they ask us to not share, we don't share with the candidates. But when we communicate with the job seeker, with the candidates, and we ask them, okay, is it the
Salary expectations.
no, is it that this is the job description, and we ask them how much is their current salary and how much they are looking for and what kind of flexibility on the salary they have. And yes, sometimes we are communicating with them and we said, like, you know what, I know that the budget is tight. I know that they don't have this, they cannot go over this budget, but what do you think? Is it anything else about the job? And sometimes, especially in the high level, in the C levels, in the VP levels, the SVP levels, they are like, there are other factors than salary that they're important for them. So we focus on those factors and we ask them, how do you feel about that? And that makes everyone's job easier. But yes, as Shirley you mentioned, it's better if you're dealing directly with the direct recruiters, with the internal recruiters of the company. Don't ask it, because that means that you're not really interested in the other factors. It's just you're just joining for the salary.
And sometimes the recruiters or the employers, they would mention the salary grade. Yeah. It's grade 5. It's grade 4.
They have band
exactly.
There's a banding. Right. And you're right, it depends on whether you are going external or internal. So if I'm doing the recruitment, then 100% I wouldn't share the details, especially at that level. You know, if I'm looking for a leadership, I'm recruiting for a leadership role, then definitely I don't advertise. But if I'm dealing with a recruiter, yes, obviously I'll tell them and I'll say, yeah, fine, you can share the details. Because mostly if I deal with a recruiter, it's usually a confidential position. So obviously I would give them the details and I'll tell them to go ahead and share.
Great.
Yeah.
Good. Let's go back to the video CV again. Because then I'm going to ask you another question about what do you prefer? How do you want to see the video CV as a recruiter? Yeah. You want to see it on a YouTube? You want it to see on a Google Drive? You want to have a link on a CV? All right, so that I'll be asking you in the next round, so that the applicants, when they apply with the right approach when they are submitting their their video CVs to the recruiters or to the employers. All right, Trisha, coming back to the video CV, do you think like the young people or the young lads, they are more confident facing the camera? They can just turn on the camera and then they can just start recording themselves. And do you think is it a little bit harder for old age people who are, I don't want to mention that bracket, but let's say like old age people, and now the buzz is there for the video CV and to grab more opportunities and the self-branding expert Pega, she also mentioned, it's becoming essential for everybody to establish yourself as a brand. Now we are living in the digital space. We need to create the value that we have. We need to put it out there for people to know. So do you think like, is it a little harder for the old age people? Like they are not so tech friendly but they have to face the camera now and compared to the young people?
To be honest with you, I think this might be a textbook answer here, but I don't think age actually matters, because it doesn't matter. You could have like 50-plus-year-olds be comfortable and confident in front of the camera because that's just their personality. Maybe some small tweaks in terms of having the camera the right way or uploading it to YouTube, but I think being in front of the camera is just your personality. It doesn't matter what age you've got. You could have an 18-year-old who is completely shy and say, oh my God, no way am I doing that. Or you could be having 50-year-old saying, absolutely, get me the camera right now. So I don't think age plays a factor. It's just, your personality, and as you're saying, it's a lot of extrovert that would be comfortable versus someone introvert. It's just being confident and comfortable.
Right. Is there a special, do we need like high-end cameras to create those video CVs? Because obviously you have talked about that we need to have the best lighting, a really nice background. So do you think that video CV can be recorded at home? And if at home, then what kind of environment we need to have, or we should go to a cafe and record there? And about the equipment.
So speaking from my own experience, and I've worked with a number of clients and helping them with a video pitch or a leadership pitch, video CV, it's super easy. Honestly, if you may allow me, you could have your simple phone and you can turn it on an angle like this rather than straight, and that will just, that would be fine. So long as you've got enough lighting, you don't need the fancy flash lighting. You can literally get one of those rings, the eye rings, and put that in front of you and have an adequate background. Of course, it depends on the level. What type of video are you wanting to create? Something with completely flash backgrounds, the Burj or all of the desert maybe, or you're just looking for a plain background, you can literally have your iPhone on a diagonal angle.
And no need to make like those big investments in getting a Canon or Nikon, those high-end DSLRs, just I think they will do the job.
At the end of the day, it's what your budget allows you. If you want to go and hire someone to do the most fancy.
Right. And the bottom line is, if you can't record yourself in front of this camera, you won't be able to record yourself in front of those DSLRs. So better get comfortable at least with the camera.
That's right.
And then go ahead
that's
and
right.
make further investments in case,
Yes,
you know.
and don't forget to look at the dot. So, quite
Yes.
often, when you're on the screen, if you've got the laptop or the camera, you look at the camera, but you're actually not looking into the screen.
Exactly.
So you're actually looking downwards when you're viewing it.
So like right now, I'm speaking with you.
The camera's there.
The camera is right there, exactly. So this is the Job Structure third episode, sponsored by I Want to Work, one of the leading job portal in the UAE. Today we have panelist Trisha Chapman, who is the CV writing expert, the managing partner for the impressive CV. Pega Gold, the self-branding expert and Amazon's best-selling author, and Luis Mawai, who is the head of the HR and has been in the UAE for more than a decade. Coming back to you, Pega.
Like the back cameras of the phone are much better than the front camera. So you can always use that back camera and look at that, and you can have a mirror behind it, so you can see yourself and you can have the focus on there as well.
But one of the challenges, because I do a lot of video recording and I use just my mobile
Yes.
to do that. So I have a ring at home,
Yeah.
and I would put, for example, if I have to record a vertical video or if I would go for a horizontal one, doesn't matter. But I would use the front camera, all right? Because I can see the dimension.
Yeah.
So I can see myself fitting
Yeah.
in the frame. Rather, I would use the back, and then I would need another person to, who would tell me like, yes,
Or you can
you
have
fit
it
it.
like a mirror behind the camera, so you can see yourself,
Yes,
how do you look,
this is
and
one
all
of
these things.
this is a quick tip to if you have to use the back camera. So the next time I'm not going to call my friend to tell me that
Exactly,
I'm
just have
fitting in
the
the frame,
mirror,
just
yeah.
have the mirror and then get things. All right, coming back to LinkedIn, and we are talking about different ways to self-branding and establishing yourself as a brand, and Trisha is digging more deep into the video CV making. So once we have that video file ready, once we have that ourselves so once we have that video file ready to brand, so how we can brand it on LinkedIn? What are different ways that LinkedIn provides us to brand ourselves, and also how we can use the file itself to brand on LinkedIn?
Okay, I think the basic one that everyone needs to have, and as Trisha mentioned also earlier, is the very generic one about you, so people know who is behind this picture. So obviously your tone, the way that you're talking, your body language, the way that you're even smiling, and all this thing has much more effect than having just a static picture of you, and some of it is not even really saying who you are. So yes, that one as the cover needs to be there, so everyone knows if they're coming to your page who you are and what you do. But also, you don't need to just, having one off and then done, it could be that one, but, what I recommend is that even for the market thought leaders that I'm talking with, not only job seekers, even people that they're actually, they want to be known in their own company, as a leader, or they're entrepreneur, or they're job seekers. It's nice to have a consistent way of posting your videos and talking about things that is kind of reflecting on your thoughts. It's talking about who you are, saying it in a different way. So it's like a blogging, but more like recording your the way of you blogging. And also, you always can use them in a different platform. So you can post it on LinkedIn, for example. Again, I'm going to banking because banking was my expertise when I was in the recruitment. So you do banking and you have some knowledge to share. You just share it. Or you're in marketing and you want to talk about something like digital marketing, the importance of digital marketing, or the importance of branding in the marketing, because marketing is also, it's a very vast area. If you have something to share, just share it even for a few minutes. But the most important things at the beginning of the recording of yourself, which cannot be a CV, but it can be a part of your branding. They need to know who you are. For example, for me, hi everyone, my name is Pega Gold and I'm the author of the Amazon best-selling book called The Formula. This one is always there. Everyone, when they see my videos, they know. Even sometimes within my friends, they're like, oh, the Amazon best-selling author of The Formula. They already got it. You already it's called subliminal priming. It's already going to subconscious of the people. So they see you, they know who you are. Like sometimes, as I mentioned earlier, I was like attending an exhibition, and everyone looked at me and they're like, oh my God, you're Pega Gold on LinkedIn. I was like, wow, how do you recognize me? And I had a mask on, you know. But that's how they see me and they perceive me, because I'm consistent, and I post videos about different topics that reflecting on what I do. So it should be like a normal practice. Do it consistently, at least once a week, once every 2 weeks. But these need to be there, because when they're coming and checking your profile on LinkedIn, they're not only do the cover and then they're leaving. They want to know what's going on within their mind of that person. So what kind of personality she or he has, and then what their interest about, what they share that it might be, you know, like very interesting or kind of having say about them. And using the description, it's very important as well. So this video is about this, you know, so having it like a tagline or something on the top to share what is that about. So when they are like checking, they know that this is about marketing, this is about me, this is about my own experience. And yes, that's part of the CV. But what I can also recommend, sometimes it's difficult for us to get there with the video CV and video recording. Do it as a blog, do it as a post, and then do that post as a recording, you know. So, and then you can use that recording not only there on LinkedIn, you can use it on your Facebook, you can use it on your Instagram if you have, or on YouTube. And funny enough that I go to different dimensions, literally different clients. Clients come to me from different social media that they are not on LinkedIn. And for example, they come and approach me on Facebook. I don't know, like for example, like Dubai Women's or something like that. They're not on LinkedIn, or they're not active on LinkedIn, but they're very active on Facebook. And then they find my video and they see like the tags and on all these things, and they come across and they want to collaborate with me, or they want to work with me, or they have some people in the C-levels that they need kind of expertise to brand themselves, like myself, you know.
And when it comes to the tools on LinkedIn, so I think we can use the cover story, we can use posting. I quite like this idea, rather than making a one video and you would just post it there. So do it like a blog. So you have multi-skills. For example, as a marketing expert, you have different skill sets, Google AdWords, SEO, content writing, digital marketing, influencer marketing. So you already have 6 different kind of videos that you can make, and you can spread across different social media platforms, rather than just making one video. Obviously, you can go for one video, which is the 2 to 3 minutes. Yes, the essential one, and you can load it there. But you can also start doing the blogging as well, which is, I think, is a very nice way as well to giving people those small things about your personality, about your skill sets. Luis, the important part now. So video CV has been created. The job applicants or the person who is trying to establish their brand is doing the job. Now, when it comes to reaching out to the recruiters and when we are submitting the job application, how do you prefer to receive the video CV? Should they apply for the job online and post the USB through a mail, or that this is the CV? So every now and then you are receiving a USB, and you make sure in the job ad that this will eventually become the property of the USB will become the property of the.
For me, I prefer a link on the CV, because again, I work in a very fast-paced environment, and I need to get things done very, very quick. I don't have time to go to different places. So if you just put your link on the resume, it's easier for me. I just click on it, go watch your video, and then I make a decision based on that.
How long do you think the recruiter would spend time in watching the video? So if you get like 500 CVs, and out of them, for example, 200 would have the link. So you're just sitting the whole day with a cup of coffee. I'm just watching,
Very good question.
So how much time would you spend in watching the video CVs?
I give a candidate 30 seconds to 1 minute.
The first 30 seconds or 30 seconds?
30 seconds to 1 minute to sell yourself.
Okay.
or to brand yourself.
The first 30 seconds to
Yeah.
1 minute, or like
30 seconds. So I watch the first 30 seconds,
Okay,
and
all
then
right.
to a minute to 60 seconds.
Right,
So
okay.
total 1 minute for me to either go forward or reject the candidate.
Right.
Yeah.
This leads to me another important question, Trisha. So how the applicants now, what they need to talk within the first 30 seconds, which eventually will be helping them to establishing themselves as a brand in front of the recruiters, but
Very
what they need to
important.
talk in the first 30 seconds to 60 seconds.
So first of all, obviously you need to make sure that you are reading the job description. This is specifically for an application, not just something, a generic one. You don't want to be showcasing the number of years of experience that you've got in, say, for example, marketing manager, but the position is completely, totally different or not very similar to a marketing manager. So you want to have, a punchline, who you are, how many years of experience that you offer, and a little bit of personality, making sure that you're showing who you are, and why hire you. And then, of course, you can go into your achievements or what you bring to the table. You could be asking rhetorical questions, for example, so why hire me? And then proceed. Or what would you benefit out of having me as your HR manager? And then continue to proceed. So I think it's really important that you initially capture them within, literally seconds, for them to be entertained and have that subconscious thought that they want to listen about more,
Right.
So master your elevator pitch.
Right. That's the key. That's
Absolutely.
the key. All right. Peg, now since we're coming to the end of this third episode of the Job Stock Show, and we're talking about video CV making and self-branding. So when it comes to the social media, so what are the do's and don'ts when it comes to the self-branding? So do's, I think we have talked about,
Yes.
but what they should avoid, or the person who is trying to establish a brand, they need to be very, very aware of and be
Okay.
careful.
Yes, a very good question. It's coming back to the same thing that I talked about it earlier. It's very much important that to know what they want to achieve. So if they want to get another job in marketing, for example, they need to talk about that. So just don't be, don't share everything about everything. Like you need to be consistent, not only about how you post things, it's about what you're talking about. If you're in marketing, just talk about marketing. If you're in HR, just talk about HR. If you are in marketing but you want to be in HR, talk about things that you want to achieve. So it's very important to be consistent about the content that you're creating, what you want everyone to perceive you as. You cannot just one day talking about marketing, the other day talking about, your holidays and being just so random about things. Otherwise you don't get anywhere. So in my book even I mentioned that, if you don't know where you want to go, every road is getting you nowhere. So because you don't have the clear goal. So the most important is to have a clear goal. This is the do's, and the don'ts is don't be.
Right.
Yes. And the second one is the consistency. Again, I mentioned. In social media in general, we have something like algorithm, and people that they are doing lots of social media, they know that they're it's a AI things, it's a very much technology relevant, that they're checking how often you're posting things, and depends on that they are evaluating how your reach is going to be. So it's very much important also that you do it. If you're doing it once a week, do it once a week. If you're doing it once every 2 weeks, do it once every 2 weeks. The third one is the audience. So you need to have the proper audience. And you should not just share everything for everyone. If you want to get employers that they are actually looking for marketing manager, you need to have those people, in your network, and you need to add those people and target those ones to understand who you are and what do you do and all. So if I want to share this, I think these three are the most important one to the don'ts.
When it comes to the don'ts, all right.
Yes.
Luis, would you like to share the last minute tip for our audience when it comes to the video CV making, or when they are establishing their brand from a recruiter side?
Yes.
Because you also go on different social media platforms, look for the candidates, using different filters, different keywords. So what is your advice to the applicants?
Well, one more advice that I'd like to share with candidates out there is when you see a job post, especially on LinkedIn, the worst thing you can do is just write interested. You've seen that a lot.
Yes.
But then when I look at your profile, but then when I go to the job portal or the job profile, you've not even applied for the position. Yeah. So you just write interested, and that's it. You don't apply for the role. So as great as your profile is, unfortunately, I will not shortlist you for the position because you didn't take the time, you didn't take the initiative, or you just didn't follow simple instructions. Apply for the job. The other thing that I normally always tell candidates is if I've posted a job for, let's say, it's a sales position, but then you write to me and say, I'm applying for a marketing position within the same job post, that's something else that I would encourage candidates, or I would advise candidates not to do that. Because again, you will be blacklisted. Yeah, you'll be placed somewhere in our little yes, naughty box where we say, you know, these are people who are just applying blindly or writing. They're not serious about their careers. That's how I look at it. They're also not professional. So you are blacklisted purely based on those tiny little things that candidates do.
About the don'ts, yeah, don't apply for every job. It's not going to help anyway in your personal branding. It's actually backfire on you, and it's actually have a very negative effect on your branding. So
Yeah.
they're like, oh my God, this is the same. Because I was a recruiter, I used to receive like thousands of applicants, and I know that one applicant has applied for every job that we posted. So
Yeah.
that one, we knew that is absolutely no way we are going to even look at their CVs, you know. So
It
Yeah.
also happened with me just last month. There was a candidate. Obviously, I'm not hiring for any positions, but there was a candidate who would send me the CV every day. I would receive.
That's something else.
Every single day, I would receive the CV from that candidate, and I was like, and then I had to move that email address into the spam, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you're very right. I mean, you might be experiencing more
Yeah.
often than me. Yes.
Yeah, I get that as well. Where someone, I don't know whether there's something they're using. I am tech savvy, but I'm not. I don't know if they're putting like an auto send.
Right.
So every single day, yeah, there's a scheduler. So every single day, you're receiving an applicant or rather an application over and over again. And what they don't realize is that doesn't put them in a positive light. If anything, I'm going to, as you said, I'll spam them, junk them, and, you know, and at times, you know, exactly. Or sometimes they're applying for the position and they've written to a million companies or a lot of companies. So again, it's about self-branding. You are applying to my company, but then you've not even bothered to blind copy, you know, or so you see all the names, all the companies you're applying to and saying, I want a job, and it's over and over again. So you are automatically junked purely
Right.
based on that.
Great. I hope you guys are learning a lot when it comes to the video CV making. Obviously, we'll after this, I'm going to ask a tip from Trisha as well when it comes to the video CV making and which apps our audience they can use, or simply just the camera and trim it from the beginning and the end and then just upload it, or would you like to recommend some mobile apps where they can go and edit? Obviously, I have some names in my mind as well because I use those apps very often and because I record a lot of videos. So I hope this session was insightful for all of you, right? All right, let's go to our audience now and see what questions they have from the expert, and our experts are here to answer our audience's questions.
Hi, my question is in the CV, which part is the most attractive one to put the video link? That means straight under the image or on the profile section or the skill section, or which part in the CV is more attractive?
Thank you for the question. I would say for me, within your profile, because again, it's about you selling yourself, right? Branding yourself. So it should be within your personal details from me. I don't know if about...
At least right on the top somewhere.
Exactly, somewhere where it
Stand
says
out.
the link to your video
Right.
resume.
Put it under your contact details. We've
Yeah.
got email, phone, LinkedIn,
Yeah.
videos,
Yeah, exactly.
and YouTube is probably the easiest. You can have everything
Don't hide it.
And don't put it right at the end because we don't want to go all the way to the end, right? So where your profile is, you know where your phone number is, email, contact details, that's where you put your link. Okay.
So the other question is, in video CVs, what are the things we should tell and we should not tell?
You're talking about like the script, how we should sell ourselves?
Yes.
Okay. Trisha?
And obviously, Trisha have mentioned some points what to mention on a video CV, but I'm asking what could be we should not tell in the CV.
So you need to keep it specific to the application. So for example, if your application says you want SAP experience or Oracle, quite often they'll have hard and soft skills. So you then need to talk about yourself with those hard and soft skills. So you wouldn't be talking about that you were, the GPA of 5, a high score, when your university was 10 years ago. You wouldn't be showcasing that you are the football, rugby superstar when the position is for Microsoft or, a company. So be relevant to the company and the job application and specifically to the skills, both hard and soft, that they're asking of you. Because you've got a minute 30, in some cases a minute, okay? You want to be concise, consolidated, and to the point as possible, and of course in an engaging way.
Exactly. And one of the best way that you can do is, as Trisha mentioned, is to highlight your relevant achievements based on the role. So while you're talking about those achievements, so you can put the text there. So because once they see it, they might remember it as well. So you're talking about like you achieved different
new market segment. Yeah, exactly.
Different numbers, for example, numbers. So you can put exactly
sales figures. You could make a quick little line. Sorry to take over, but for example, hi, I'm Trisha Chapman. But not only am I Trisha Chapman, I'm also an avid soccer fan. Aside from that, I've got 10 years of experience as a digital marketeer, and so you've added a little bit of flavour from all of the sides, and you haven't just waffled on about your personal interests. You get me?
Yes, exactly.
Personality.
Let's say I'm a banker. Will it work in a banking industry? Because the usual practice is we normally send the PDF CV and we wait for the call.
Yeah.
So in banking industry, video CV will work. In more creative industries, it will work. I'm sure. But when it comes to banking or some relevant industries like that, will it work?
So if you continue to do the same thing, you'll get the same results, right? So don't forget, quite often now, banking, finance, it's a huge industry. There's a lot of people within this sector, especially now that the fintech is growing. So you've got an ever-evolving sector. So you need to stand out. So not only can you say that, please find attached my CV, and please, for your interest or for your pursuit, here is my video resume. So you could use both, so that then someone within the industry who might not be comfortable with videos yet or is lacking time, they don't have to read the videos, read the PDF, or they could click it if they wanted to.
I highly recommend you to start doing it, as Trisha said also. Just do it along with what you're doing normally, because if we want to or we don't want to, the technology is really evolving. And it will reach to the point that you don't need to even send your normal CV. You have to send this one. And in future, they have AIs to even recognize your voice, your body language. Even the recruiters don't see it. Like now how we have the ATS, that the robots actually read your CV when you're applying for a job. Most companies, they use it. It will be similar to ATS, but for your video CV. And they will check everything. The AI check everything. Even if they feel that you're not confident of what you're saying, they also have the alert about that. So it's better that you're being pioneer and you start to practice this. Then later on, when it's become completely normal, because it will become normal, you know. So you know, you start to feeling that what should I do, but it will happen. This will be there. Sooner or later, especially after the pandemic, everyone started to realize that. I have some clients that they did all of their interns recruitment, they did it all through the video CV. Literally, they did not even ask for the normal CV, because the interns are just like in university. They have nothing to write in their CV. It was about their personality, how they're talking, and all the body language and the tone. Like, they can see these things. We all, as a human, we can recognize all of these non-verbal communications. And in very near future, we're gonna have AIs to just check all this in your video CV as well.
So in ATS, will ATS capture this video CV thing in the?
It will be in the future. All the companies, they have something that you literally, you know, they screen your video CV, you know, without having any human involved in between. But till that moment, we can start to practice, and we can start to be more familiar with that. We can be pioneering that. And when I was a recruiter back then, before even the pandemic hit it, I remember in 2017, I had one candidate, literally, it was the only candidate who sent me the video CV, not the video CV, he started to talk about himself. And I was so blown out. I was like, wow, this is so good. Like, immediately, that candidate for me was stand out, was different candidates.
Right.
You know, so.
Exactly.
So
and I would like to add as well here that, so if you are thinking about from the side that you will create the video CV and you have to upload it on LinkedIn, all right, so don't worry about that. So we're not like recommending you to, because obviously you have your network, your friends, your for example, you are potentially looking for an opportunity, but we are talking about, you know, establishing yourself as a brand and putting your video CV out there. So we're not just saying posting on LinkedIn, but you can use the job portals. So what if tomorrow all the employers, they would say like, please upload your video CV onto the job portals. What if tomorrow all those leading UAE job portals, including I Want to Work, which gives you the opportunity that you can place your video, you can upload your video there on the platform. And the employers, they see it. So once you apply for the job, and what if they would use the filter, show only candidates who have the video CVs, all right? So it's an opportunity for you to upload your video CV. So be comfortable, upload it, and then at a later stage, as you know, Pega mentioned about doing the blogging about multiple topics around your skill sets, around your expertise, that maybe you can publish on LinkedIn, Facebook, and even you can create your own YouTube channel, because you are talking about something good. You're talking about your expertise, you're talking about your experience. But a video CV, I also would not recommend, for example, to just start sharing it that I'm looking for a job, but you can use the job portals. And I Want to Work give you the opportunity where you can stand out in front of the employers, in front of the recruiters, because once they are looking, now this is the answer to your first question, that a video CV, does it matter across different industries, or only in the creative industries that we should upload or we should share? But when it comes to the banking, now imagine if you're applying for a position, accounting position in one of the leading bank, and the job is posted on a job portal, but your video CV is there. So they have the opportunity to see you in person. You are talking, so you are making yourself stand out in front of the recruiters and also within that pool of the applicants. And the worst thing, if in the future, the employers, they have the filter, I Want to Work has the filter that the employers, they can filter the candidates who have their video CVs on the portal. That's how you can, you know, go a mile further. Yes, exactly.
First of all, I would like to ask, as you all mentioned earlier, we have to make the video CV. So for applying, while applying to any job, we have to make different video CVs, or we have to make only one video CV? Because we have to make, as Suhaib sir mentioned in most of your videos, that we have to make multiple versions of our CV. Likewise, we have to make multiple versions of video CVs too. And then if I'm applying to different jobs, so my video resume should be relevant to every job application which I'm applying to, or should I make only one good video resume which should be good enough for all my videos, or sorry, all my kind of resumes which I'm applying for? So what is the best way? And even this will take a lot of time to make one good resume, one good video CV, people or the people like me who are shy to face the camera, to who have done thing, who have the experience, market experience. They're a marketing person, but again, I am shy to face the camera, to talk to myself, even the things which were you mentioned earlier. So what should I do? Talking about myself, because I am a job seeker, I am applying for jobs. So making a one video will be really hard for me, but making multiple videos is difficult task for me to do. Even harder. So what is the best way to go through this whole process?
Like, I know that you're the expert. I'm just sharing my own things and I pass it on to you. So what I can say that I'm under the impression that you are applying for the similar jobs.
Yes.
So it's not going to be very different. So that's something that helps you to stay focused and focus on one thing, like mostly what is your expertise. What I can suggest that have something that you create for your own, talking about yourself, very quickly the first 30 seconds, because that won't change anyways. Whatever you apply, that would be the first 30 seconds is about you, who you are, and what you're doing. But then you can maybe have the second part, maybe after the 1 minute, maybe you can mix it with the first 1 minute, and talk about the different expertise, depends on the job application and the requirement of the job. So in this case, you have the 1 minute about you and your achievements and who you are and all, and then if they you want to continue to have like why they should hire you, why you are good for this job, then you have the specific one recorded, and then you can maybe put it for the first one. I don't know if it's something that you think that is
I'm fully aligned with you. I think that if it's not cross-sector or cross-functional positions that you're applying for, you can keep one that's quite comprehensive in terms of the skill sets that you offer for that sector.
Okay.
And then you can perhaps exactly make a small section if there's something specific that is highlighted that it's a must and you haven't included it in the initial version. But if it's not something that you're going as a cross-functional role, or you're not going for something like a leadership position, outside of the job scope, then keep it as one. Don't, it's timely. It can be stressful because and how many takes that you do. So,
Right.
save yourself some time.
Okay.
And I can also add here just a little bit. I think it's much easier to create multiple video series, in my personal opinion, than to create one. Because if you have to create one, so you have to talk everything about everything within one. So it's more pressure, a video, when you're going to record like one video and you're going to talk about everything.
Yes.
All right. So again, now think from a perspective of an applicant. You are submitting your job application to the recruiter.
Yes.
All right. So YouTube, for example, they are asking you to submit a link on your CV so that they can click and they can watch the video. So if you create multiple CVs, multiple video CVs, and you have them on a Google Drive, or you have them on your YouTube channel, and then you have made those videos private, so that people, they cannot see the other videos unless they would have the link. So you are applying for a marketing role, more specific. They are asking that you should be Google AdWords specialist, for example, or SEO marketing. So okay, I have created a video CV which is on my YouTube channel. Video is made private. So you take out that link and then you post it on a CV, because you have explained everything within 2 minutes about Google AdWords, about the campaigns and how you can grow the reach, each and everything about it. All right. But obviously, as Trisha mentioned and Pega, you can have that one video CV as well that you can use, because people, they will be reaching out to you sometimes. Okay, give us your profile. All right. That is when you can use that video file as well. But you can create more specific videos, like a 2 minutes.
Max.
And you can have them on a YouTube, but make sure to make them private so nobody can see it. So if they're watching one video, no other videos are visible, unless they have the link. All right. So, but when you are applying for one position, which video link you need to use on your CV, and then you have to apply. But obviously, once you are uploading your video CV, for example, on I Want to Work platform, so just make it a comprehensive. It gives you the opportunity that you can upload. So have everything in front of you, and then talk about everything, and then make it a more comprehensive profile video CV, I would say.
Is this right to contact recruiters and ask them feedback, to give feedback on your video resumes, on your traditional soft resumes. Is this right? And I really want to know whether we should directly contact the recruiters and ask them to give a feedback, even just the way you said we should paste a link. So if we need motivation on our video resumes, we need a feedback on our video resumes. So how can we get that? Because we are own director, how we are going to take a feedback on our resume? Either it's wrong, either we have made any wrong statement, or we have been like we have spent spent too much time on making that video. So what is the right way to get the feedback, and also what is the right way to contact recruiters while we are seeking jobs?
From my perspective, how do I answer this? Because sometimes I will respond and give advice, especially if I've interviewed you and unfortunately you didn't make it. Some candidates, which I actually like that, they'll reach out and ask me, what could I have done better? And I like that because then, I find that very professional, and I also like the fact that they're that assertive to actually ask me the question, and I always give them the feedback. And that's, for me, from my perspective, like I have no issue giving you feedback. But what I don't give feedback on is sometimes sorry, you'll cut that. But sometimes I may not be able to respond to every individual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Truly
So for
understand that.
example, if someone writes to me and says, what did you think of my resume? And I've not even interviewed you, unfortunately I will not respond. But if I've interviewed you and then you're asking me for feedback why you are not selected, I'm more than happy to give the feedback. Including if there's a video link, I'll give you feedback on that as well. Yeah.
So video link is going to help us anyway, the video resume.
So my question is, are you going to ask feedback about your normal CV when you're applying? Obviously not.
Yes.
You're not reaching out everyone that you're applying and said, how is my CV? What do you think about my CV? You're reaching out to experts that they're actually doing CV, or you're reaching out to people that they're in the positions that they're receiving CVs, but they're your friends, and you're asking them, what do you think about it? Because they're in the recruitment, they're in HR, they have a kind of understanding. So if you want to do it, I suggest that do it this way instead of reaching out to everyone. As Louise mentioned, as much as we want to help, I was a recruiter that I was working 14 hours a day because I want to help more. I want to stay longer hours. I want to give feedback. And that's how I ended up become a career coach and personal branding advisor. But we don't have time for every single candidate. And it's kind of become a little bit in our shoulder that we have to get back to them. We don't want they feel that we are rejecting them, we are not answering them, we are just like ghosting them. But we cannot reach everyone, we cannot reply to everyone. So if you reach to the certain level with the internal recruiter that you, for example, you got rejected, yes, it's a good time to ask for the feedback. But at the beginning when you apply, just go through the experts. They're experts sitting here, you know what I mean? They're experts that you can reach out, that this is their expertise, doing video CVs, doing writing resumes, and they can give the best advice, or reach out to people that they're in that domain, and they can, they are your friends that they can help you with that. Hope that helped.
Actually, I put together specifically for this show a quick little checklist that I have emailed to Sahib. So, you are absolutely welcome. You can have it. It's a checklist how to follow. It's really basic. It's not a checklist, but I think 7-point guide. So,
Right.
you
So
can
after
follow
this,
that.
so just let us know, and then we'll just forward you through email.
Okay.
Right. The last question for today.
Whether this unemployment gap which makes it difficult to crack the job?
Thank you for the question.
Yeah.
I actually get a lot of candidates who've had that gap in their career, and I normally want to know why. What was the gap for? Was it maybe family related? Was it redundancy? But I prefer candidates who are very, very honest. yeah, who will be willing to tell me why. And there was a candidate I remember one time who had a 1-year gap. But when she came for the interview, I loved her personality. I loved how she came across. I loved the fact that she had done her homework before she came for the interview in terms of understanding the brand, my company, what we are looking for. She was superb, and I hired her based on that. So for me, it all depends on how you sell yourself. It's about personal branding again, branding. Yeah.
We have, you have breaks, you have family. It's not your fault if from COVID you were laid off. You can just list it, due to COVID, and then say thorough job search or professional development, and then you can list the course. People understand, and recruiters understand we're humans. Yeah, don't hide it. Yeah.
I'm asking this question from Pega. What would be your advice or a comment on a person who is on thought of changing his career? For example, let's say I am a banker and I have an academic qualification in human resources. So throughout my career, I am working in a bank in international trade services. So I don't have any experience in human resource management, but I am willing to work in human resource management. So how could my branding or the video CV will help to join to human resource management or HR? Because I would like to connect with people and work towards that.
That's a very good question. I love that. And because the personal branding is the thing that helps many people if they want to, change their job function, and especially the industry. And it's fascinating because most of us, including myself, I never choose to become a recruiter. It was completely by luck, but somehow it was matched with what are my value and all these things, and then how it leads me to become a career coach and personal branding advisor. But the thing is, most of us, we studied something because of our parents, society, and all these things, or we started a job that back then it was fancy, or it was the only job that we could find. And then later on, we ended up 10 years later, most of my clients, they're like, you know what, I cannot go to my work anymore because I don't like it and I want to do something else completely different. So it's very much, maybe 80% of my clients, they have the same challenge at work. And that's how the beauty of personal branding come alive, because then you can start to talk about what you like. Then you can start to talk about what kind of relevant experience you have. And then you can start to post more videos about that. I wasn't personal branding advisor when I started to do career coaching, but because of that, people start asking me how we can brand ourselves like you. I don't think that anyone started to study at my age personal branding in their, in the university. It's a very new, words that they're using at this moment. But this is how I become expert in this, because I was doing it a lot, and people see that. My videos reach them, my contents reach them. So you can start to sharing lots of information about what you like, what you're passionate about, what you think that you can do, what you think that you can change. You can start to also have the different target audiences. So, adding more people in HR, and maybe even you can start to mingle with them, just go out for networking with them, start understanding them. And the best thing to do, which I've done it myself as a recruiter, I know everything about banking sector because I met people and I start asking them to share their experiences. You may think that you're bothering them, but they actually love to share their experiences. And while you're doing that, it's part of also your branding. And then you educate yourself, and then you can say that, the other day I sat with this so-and-so and they were talking about this. Make it relevant to whatever area you want to, tackle. And just make sure that everything is consistent, everything is relevant to that topic. You will get there, I promise you. I'm receiving every week job, they're approaching me for jobs, and I'm not looking for job opportunity, but imagine that me, just because I'm posting certain things about certain topics, they are like reaching out to me. It's no way that if you're posting a lot and about one topic, people are relevant to that, they're not reaching out to. You will be seen for sure.
All right, so this was the question and answer session with our audience. This was the third episode of the Job Stock Show. Today we talked about video CV making and establishing yourself as a brand. Thank you to the panelists today, Trisha, Pega, and Louis, for your time today and sharing these wonderful insights for the audience and when people are going to watch it live on across social media. If you're looking out for job opportunities right now, make sure to upload your video resume on I Want to Work platform, which is the letter I, digits 1 to wrk.com, and upload your video cover letter today, because employers, they are more keen now to see the person behind profile. So it's an opportunity which I Want to Work platform, which is one of the leading platform in the UAE, giving you the opportunity to brand yourself. Take care and wish you good luck.
Finding a job with the I Want to Work app is easy. Just search the live vacancies on our interactive map to find a job that matches your skills and experience. Sign up and complete your profile. Upload information about your education and career history before posting your very own video CV. Hit apply and let I Want to Work do the rest. It couldn't be simpler.
You don't need to pay, get a job.